to breaking into tech. So I know we had a conversation earlier on, what you should do after you break into tech, because a lot of people are fearful of AI taking jobs, software engineering jobs, developer jobs, things like that. So what advice could you give someone that is thinking about breaking into tech, but are fearful of AI taking their job and not being stable?
My advice would be start as soon as possible. I'm not kind of scared the AI will affect the software engineering just yet, but it could in next maybe 10 years or something. So if you do want to get into tech, don't wait. Do it now. Try to make as much money now, because obviously tech do offer a much higher salary than other jobs. So I would say try to get into tech, make as much money as possible, try to invest it maybe into properties, into some passive income. So later on, if the tech will collapse, you will have your money coming in from your kind of passive income.
Holiday here with another Daily Stand-Up. I'm CEO of Holiday Systems, Inc., and I'm here with Radka. Radka is the CEO of Mariana Consultancy, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. And I'm Radka. I'm the CEO of Mariana Consultancy. We are a UK-based company and helping our students to get into the tech.
All right. So, Radka, so tell us what exactly Mariana Consultancy is.
Well, Mariana Consultancy actually is based in London, in UK. However, we don't actually specializing only for like a UK students. We kind of, because we are online boot camp, we kind of covering the whole world. We have plenty of students from the US. We do have students from Asia, also some students we have from Middle East or Australia. So we kind of cover the whole world, I would say.
And you help individuals become software developers, correct?
Correct. Yes, we do actually help people. They coming from non-tech background mainly to get into tech. The way we help them is to we giving them like lessons for a length of 12 weeks in Golang on the back end. We don't actually specializing in Java and Python because we believe those two languages they're oversaturated these days. And because Golang, it's kind of a new language which is being developed by Google and currently is popping in UK, in North America, and also in Middle East. We kind of stuck with the Golang language on the back end that we teach for 8 weeks. And after that, we switch over for the remaining 4 weeks into the front end, where we do teach JavaScript, TypeScript, and React.
Okay, and you do have another offering. So after the boot camp is over, you do offer additional services after the boot camp, correct?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We don't actually work as an ordinary boot camp. We kind of, it's not just about us. We're going to teach you the subject. And once the boot camp is over, that's it with us. We actually helping all our students to get into the tech roles. So what we do offer once the bootcamp is over, we actually have for every single student an internship for 1 month with a company called Pivot Place. It's a business-related company where our students, they kind of get that knowledge what they learned over the 3 months into the practice. And within that 1 month of an internship, they actually build a business-related products such as payroll or maybe some accountancy program. So basically within that 12 weeks plus 4 weeks, they gain quite a lot of, like I would say, experience. So we feel very confident when the students they actually complete the bootcamp and the internship, and we placing our students into the tech roles. We work with massive like tech recruitment company in United Kingdom. Majority of our students, they actually get the job after the bootcamp is completed. Obviously, some students, they do fail as well. I'm not going to say 100% of students, they get tech roles, but I would say our ratio of how many students we do get into the tech roles is about 90%, which I believe, in my opinion, is very high. Obviously, we also believe that some students are progressing better than others. That's why we need to be very careful in what kind of companies we do place our students. So that's why we kind of assess every student separately, I would say. Some students, they land their future role in the private sector. Some students, they start within the public sector. So really it depends how the students progressing during the boot camp. But we do try to get everyone into the tech role by the time they finish the boot camp and the internship.
So is it better to get into the private sector or better to get into the public sector when you're first, like if you don't have any experience at all, you're just trying to break into tech?
It's very individual, Dominic, to be honest, because we do have a students, they come from completely non-tech background, but during the boot camp and the internship, they're just progressing so well. When me or Mariana, we don't actually have to be worried about placing these students into the private sector. Then some students can be kind of very, like, I don't want to say slow, but slower than the others. And then for these students, it's much better to actually start in public sector than the private one, because the private, they have much higher expectation on you as well than the public sector. So I would say even for those who do want to land eventually in the private sector, they can start in the public sector for about 6 months or something, gain the experience, and then move straight into the private sector, when we can help them as well if they kind of come back to us in later on days and say, listen guys, we do want to kind of switch over from the public to a private sector, because all our students, they do get 1 year of a more like 1 year of a support or mentoring from us as well. That's actually part of the kind of the bootcamp package as well.
And that 90% conversion rate is very high, I might say, because there's a lot of tech boot camps and boot camps that don't have a high conversion rate. They kind of let their clients or their mentees or their interns just go on their own. But you guys do something a little different from that. So you guys stay in contact with everyone that enrolls. You guys make sure that they get a job, not only get a job, but prepare for the interview. Can you tell me a little about preparing for the interview? Like how does that go?
Sure. We do prep all our students for the interviews, and how we do it is we work closely with one AI American company, where the AI companies got a special program where actually each one of the students from our bootcamp can practice for the whole period of 3 months for the interviews. It's actually working with a bot, which is look like a human, and a human or that bot will ask you a question where you're going to answer into it. And obviously the bot will assess if you fail or you pass. If you fail, it's going to tell you what you need to be improving on. So you can kind of like practice this for the whole period of 3 months. When you do feel confident, then you can book your live interview with actually a human. And this human, it's always coming from a tech background, so they do actually know kind of like the questions needs to be asked while you actually go on to interviews with tech companies. So we try to prep as much as possible. And also sometimes what happens, some of the companies, they do want to kind of see how you code. And because we do actually kind of apply for the tech roles while the students are still in the boot camp. And sometimes it can happen, Dominic, like the students, they don't feel confident enough, maybe they haven't been in the boot camp too long and they still need a little bit of help. Then actually they can book like a free one-on-one session with one of our teacher, and this teacher will actually prep them for that particular subject as well. So basically how it works mainly is like we do know the questions, what the companies will ask. And if there is some kind of, when a company will ask you to be prepped for interview and there's going to be a practical side of it, we know the question from the company before the interview. So we can actually prepare our students for it. So that's why the students, they can actually book the one-to-one with one of our teachers, and he will prep them for this practical side as well.
Okay, yeah, that's a great way to do it, and it's a lot. You guys are different from so many different other companies that offer services into breaking into tech. So I know we had a conversation earlier on, what you should do after you break into tech, because a lot of people are fearful of AI taking jobs, software engineering jobs, developer jobs, things like that. So what advice could you give someone that is thinking about breaking into tech, but are fearful of AI taking their job and not being stable?
My advice would be start as soon as possible. I'm not kind of scared the AI will affect the software engineering just yet, but it could in next maybe 10 years or something. So if you do wanna get into tech, don't wait. do it now. Try to make as much money now, because obviously tech do offer a much higher salary than other jobs. So I would say try to get into tech, make as much money as possible, try to invest it maybe into properties, into some passive income. So later on, if the tech will collapse, you will have your money coming in from your kind of passive incomes. So that will be my advice. Don't wait too long. Just do it as soon as possible. There is no age kind of like limit. It's like we have students that are even older, 40, even more than 40. We have students that are only 19, kind of thinking, shall I go to university or not? I keep saying to everyone, don't waste your time to go to uni. You know, if you want to get to tech, you don't need to have a degree. You know, it's much better than to get into the large debts after you kind of finish your uni. Start work in tech, build your career. By age of 25, you're going to be sitting in very nice senior position and earning like six figure, and kind of your world will completely change.
Yeah, and what I tell everyone that's trying to break into tech as well is, instead of taking out a huge loan for a university, I would take out a personal loan, small $5,000, $10,000 loan, enroll into a tech program, and then I could pay that loan back off in 2 months if I was to break it, like when I break into tech. That's a better way of approaching things, because I know people that are nurses or doctors and they have like $500,000 loans, crazy amounts of money that they're always going to have to pay back. So it's funny that you say that, because a personal loan rather than a student loan, I think is better, because you could easily pay that off. And then the amount of money that you're going to be bringing in after you pay that off, it's only upside from there. And with the passive income, if you invest it in the right way as well. So where can people find you guys? They want to break into
I would
tech.
say mainly we work with our social media. So I think the biggest one I think we're using is Instagram currently. So they can see us on the Instagram, where we post regularly. We do post like even job offers. We post some kind of like any kind of information. When is the next boot camp? If there is any kind of new things, we post every day. So there's kind of everyday information about us. So you will find us on the Instagram under Mariana Consultancy. So yeah, that's the biggest one. Yes. And obviously on the Instagram also you will link into our website, where the website also is stated in there as well. But I would say, yeah, biggest one is Instagram for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Radka. So we're almost at time, and I want to just say thank you, and thank you for what you're doing. You guys are amazing. With what you're doing, it's going to help a lot of people. But as far as people finding you and things like that, make sure you check their Instagram. I'll be posting almost all the time. I'll be leading up to this interview. I'll be making sure that you guys have information on anything new that they're working on, or any new programs. But that's the Daily Stand Up, and this is Radka, and thanks for joining, everyone. Peace.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Radka.